As we celebrate our 200th video, it is appropriate to delve into one of aviation's most captivating and renowned enigmas, the story of Amelia Earhart. A trailblazing American aviator, Earhart was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and the first individual to make a solo flight from Hawaii to the mainland United States. In July 1937, during her ambitious attempt to circumnavigate the globe, she mysteriously disappeared over the Pacific Ocean. Despite extensive search efforts, her aircraft was never found, and she was officially declared lost at sea, rendering her disappearance one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Amelia Mary Earhart, born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas, defied conventional gender expectations from an early age. She engaged in various activities, including playing basketball, taking an auto repair course, and briefly attending college. During World War I, she served as a Red Cross nurse's aide in Toronto, Canada, where she observed Royal Flying Corps pilots training at a nearby airfield, which ignited her interest in aviation. After the war, she returned to the United States and enrolled as a pre-med student at Columbia University in New York. In December 1920, she experienced her first airplane ride in California with the renowned World War I pilot Frank Hawks, which fueled her passion for flying. In January 1921, Earhart began her flying lessons with female flight instructor Nita Snook, and to finance her training, she worked as a filing clerk at the Los Angeles Telephone Company. Later that year, she acquired her first aircraft. Amelia Earhart acquired a second-hand K-Air, which she affectionately named the Canary due to its vibrant yellow hue. In December 1921, she successfully completed her flight test, earning a license from the National Aeronautics Association. Just 2 days later, she took part in her inaugural flight exhibition at the Sierra Aerodrome in Pasadena, California. Throughout her brief yet impactful career, Earhart set numerous aviation records. Her first significant achievement occurred in 1922 when she became the first woman to fly solo at an altitude exceeding 14,000 feet. In 1932, she made history as the first woman and the second individual, following Charles Lindbergh, to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. Departing from Newfoundland, Canada, on May 20th in a red Lockheed Vega 5B, she landed the following day in a cow pasture near Londonderry, Northern Ireland. Upon her return to the United States, Congress honored Earhart with the Distinguished Flying Cross, a military decoration awarded for acts of heroism or extraordinary achievement in aerial flight, making her the first woman to receive this accolade. Later that same year, she accomplished the first solo non-stop flight across the United States by a woman, traveling from Los Angeles to Newark, New Jersey, in 19 hours. In 1935, she became the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to the U.S. mainland. Earhart was a staunch advocate for women's opportunities in aviation. In 1929, after securing third place in the All-Women's Air Derby, the first transcontinental air race for women, she played a pivotal role in establishing the 99s, an international organization dedicated to promoting female pilots. Earhart served as the first president of this organization, which continues to thrive today, representing women aviators from 44 countries. Earhart's legacy is not solely defined by her endeavors on June 1, 1937, when she embarked on a daring mission to become the first pilot to circumnavigate the globe. Departing from Oakland, California, this marked her second attempt at achieving this record-setting flight. She was accompanied by Fred Noonan, her navigator, selected for his proficiency in celestial navigation. The aircraft utilized for this journey was a twin-engine Lockheed Electra 10E, originally designed by Lockheed as a small airliner. Earhart had it specifically modified to include 4 additional fuel tanks. A notable characteristic of the plane was its wide tail configuration, featuring 2 vertical fins that were intended to improve flight stability. Their expedition commenced with a flight to Miami, Florida, where they made final preparations for the demanding journey ahead. From Miami, they proceeded to South America, making several stops along the way to refuel and ensure the aircraft's optimal condition. Upon reaching the eastern coast of South America, they crossed the Atlantic Ocean, landing in Africa. Continuing eastward, Earhart and Noonan traversed the expansive African continent before arriving in India. From India, they navigated through Southeast Asia, making several stops in countries such as Burma, now Myanmar, Thailand, and the Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia. On June 29, 1937, after an arduous journey covering 22,000 miles, they reached Lae, New Guinea. At this juncture, they had completed more than two-thirds of their intended route, with the remaining segment requiring them to cross the Pacific Ocean, including a crucial stop at Howland Island, a small coral atoll situated approximately halfway to their destination. Despite their careful preparations, the Pacific segment of the journey presented considerable difficulties for Earhart and Noonan. The extensive distances separating the small islands, coupled with the limited navigational aids of the era, rendered this portion of the expedition particularly hazardous. Nonetheless, Earhart and Noonan were resolute in their goal to cover the final 7,000 miles and successfully return to Oakland, California. Tragically, on July 2, 1937, during their flight from Lae to Howland Island, communication with them was lost. President Franklin D. Roosevelt sanctioned a large-scale search operation involving naval and air forces, yet no evidence of the duo or their aircraft was ever discovered. On July 19, 1937, Earhart and Noonan were officially declared lost at sea. Over the years, scholars and aviation enthusiasts have proposed numerous theories regarding the fate of Amelia Earhart. The official stance of the U.S. government maintains that Earhart and Noonan crashed into the Pacific Ocean due to navigational errors and fuel depletion. However, alternative theories persist. One theory suggests that Earhart and Fred Noonan were captured and executed by Japanese forces after straying off course into Japanese-controlled territory. Another theory posits that they were covertly acting as spies for the Roosevelt administration, adopting new identities upon their return to the United States and living the remainder of their lives in secrecy. According to the crash and sink theory, Amelia Earhart's aircraft ultimately ran out of fuel. Over the past 15 years, numerous expeditions have sought to locate the wreckage of Amelia Earhart's aircraft, which is believed to have crashed into the open ocean near Howland Island while she was in pursuit of it. These endeavors have employed advanced sonar technology and deep-sea robots. However, none have successfully revealed any information regarding the crash site of the Electra. The International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, TIRE, theorized that Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, deviated from their intended course and landed on Garner Island, now known as Niquimaro, in the Republic of Kiribati. At the time of their disappearance, this island was uninhabited. A week following Earhart's vanishing, Navy aircraft flew over Niquimaro and reported signs of recent human activity, yet no evidence of an aircraft was discovered. TIRE posits that Earhart and possibly Noonan may have survived as castaways on the island for several days or even weeks before ultimately succumbing to the island's harsh conditions. Since 1988, multiple TIRE expeditions to Niquimaro have yielded artifacts and anecdotal evidence that lend support to this theory. These findings include a piece of plexiglass that may have originated from the Electra's window, a woman's shoe from the 1930s, makeshift tools, a woman's cosmetics jar from the same period, and bones that appear to be part of a human finger. In June 2017, TIRE led an expedition to Niquimaro, accompanied by 4 forensically trained border collies, to search for any skeletal remains of Earhart or Noonan. Despite their efforts, the search did not produce any bones or DNA evidence. In August 2019, a renowned oceanographer, explorer Robert Ballard, renowned for his discovery of the Titanic wreck, led a team to investigate Amelia Earhart's aircraft in the waters surrounding Niquimaro. Despite their extensive search efforts, no traces of the Electra were found, further deepening the enigma. However, this situation may change in mid-2024, as the South Carolina-based ocean exploration firm Deep Sea Vision announced the potential discovery of Earhart's plane. Unlike conventional methods that primarily rely on side-scan sonar for underwater target identification, Deep Sea Vision employs synthetic aperture sonar, SAS, utilizing advanced techniques. This technology not only matches the area coverage capabilities of side-scan sonar but also exceeds it with superior classification features, reducing the variability linked to human operators and providing dependable results for clients. SAS is particularly effective for detailed searches, capable of detecting debris with an accuracy of up to decimeter levels. Recently made commercially available, this technology adheres to stringent client requirements, facilitating the curation of wreck sites and the identification of archaeological artifacts, even in severely degraded conditions. By collaborating with Conga Discovery, Deep Sea Vision enhances its capabilities with high-resolution imaging, capable of identifying targets as small as 3 to 5 centimeters, ensuring thorough exploration. Their wide-area mode with synthetic sonar matches the range of traditional side-scan sonar while achieving significantly higher resolution through advanced processing techniques, often surpassing the performance of conventional side-scan systems. This capability significantly reduces the necessity for multiple assessments of a target, yielding definitive results in a single expedition. Deep-sea explorations have revealed findings approximately 16,000 feet beneath the surface and 100 meters from Howland Island, which was the intended refueling stop for Amelia Earhart's historic flight. Tony Romeo, the founder of the company, stated that in 2023, they employed a $9 million underwater drone to meticulously survey over 6,000 square miles of seabed near the island, where many researchers speculate that Earhart's aircraft may have descended. They thoroughly analyzed various factors related to Earhart's flight, including fuel consumption, prevailing winds, and the strength of her radio signals. The increasing intensity of her final transmissions offered compelling evidence that she was nearing Howland Island. This finding seemed to undermine Gillespie's theory, which posited that Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, crashed approximately 400 miles south of Howland. In the brothers' perspective, the wreckage must be located in proximity to Earhart's intended destination. Romeo highlighted that many prior search efforts approached the task with a maritime perspective, treating the search for Earhart's wreckage as if it were a lost ship. He noted that their approach was informed by an aviation perspective, stemming from their Air Force backgrounds. Nevertheless, any search strategy must also take into account the possibility that Earhart's plane could have remained afloat after the crash. Gary Luke, a California-based attorney and aircraft crash investigator, pointed out that the plane's empty fuel tanks would have provided sufficient buoyancy. Buoyancy was utilized to maintain temporary flotation, but Luke pointed out that this theory is undermined by the fact that the aircraft was out of fuel. Romeo's team also investigated what Liz Smith, another researcher focused on Earhart, termed the DAT line theory. Smith proposed that Fred Noonan may have made a navigational error when the plane crossed the international date line, which could have led Earhart to miss Howland Island by as much as 60 miles. In a blog post from 2011, Smith admitted the possibility of being completely mistaken. Romeo indicated that his team did not concentrate their search efforts in Smith's primary area of focus, rather, they conducted a 20-hour survey in a different location. Amelia Earhart's final radio transmission included a crucial navigational reference, stating that they were on line of position 157-337, oriented north and south. Following this transmission, all communication ceased. Despite their attempts, they were unable to identify any promising targets, and some of the data collected appeared to be corrupted. As a result, they set aside the data from that day and continued with the expedition over the next 2 months. They repeatedly deployed the Hugin drone, discovering potential targets but feeling disheartened upon closer inspection. Eventually, they came across an object resembling Amelia Earhart's Lockheed Electra, located approximately 16,000 feet beneath the surface and 100 miles off Howland Island, the intended refueling stop for Earhart's ill-fated journey. Romeo described the object as being the same size as the Lockheed Electra, noting that it shares similar dimensions and shape. The discovery of an object consistent with an intact Lockheed Electra, the same model piloted by Amelia Earhart, has garnered significant attention. Observers noted that the object appeared to possess 2 wings, a fuselage, and a tail. Of particular interest was the tail shape, which closely resembled the distinctive twin-fin configuration characteristic of the Lockheed Electra. The spokesperson expressed confidence in this finding, asserting that, when considering all factors, it would be challenging to convince him that this is not an aircraft, specifically Earhart's plane. However, he also acknowledged the possibility that the object could merely be a formation of rocks resembling an airplane. He maintains that the aircraft exists, dismissing any notions of it being a myth, and is optimistic about its eventual discovery. The company plans to launch another expedition in 2024 to conduct further investigations, utilizing a camera to search for confirming evidence, such as the plane's tail number, NRE 16020, if it is indeed located. Nonetheless, questions regarding the legal implications of any discovered wreckage remain. Bram Klenner, Earhart's great-nephew, expressed cautious optimism, indicating that he and his family hope this discovery will provide new insights into their long-lost relative. He noted that the object is situated in the approximate location and resembles an aircraft. Klenner mentioned that if DSV successfully locates his great-aunt's airplane, he and his family would prefer that any remains be donated to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. However, the ownership of any wreckage found remains uncertain, and Klenner speculated that the airplane might have belonged to one of his distant relatives through Earhart's marriage to George Putnam. If the indistinct object identified in the DSV sonar images is indeed Amelia Earhart's aircraft, its location could have significant implications regarding ownership. Dr. Andrew Petrusa, an expert in underwater archaeology at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography in California, noted that if the plane were located in international waters, the discoverers, DSV, could potentially assert legal ownership under salvage laws. While the likelihood of discovering Amelia Earhart's remains alongside the aircraft is slim, her family members have considered their response to such an eventuality. Bram Kellner mentioned that his 92-year-old mother, Amy Kellner, has expressed a desire for Earhart's remains to be returned to her birthplace in Atchison, Kansas. Ms. Kellner is among the few individuals still living who had personal connections with Amelia Earhart. Deep-sea vision pilot Wallace brought a bottle of 1937 Jameson whiskey on board in anticipation of this discovery. He recalled that amidst the initial excitement, there was a strong temptation to open the bottle. However, he recognized that it was meant to be reserved for the final confirmation. We can only hope that such confirmation will be announced soon. What are your thoughts on the likelihood of this discovery? Please share your opinions in the comments.